Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to be playing Royal Alchemist today. I'm going to start a new one. We're gonna... what's a good name? Let's do... Rose. No, that's my character in Hogwarts. Ooh, let's do Lily. Another flower. Oh, I did it. Okay. Oh, God. There we go. Perfect. Oh, God. My nose itches. Okay. 2 decades into his reign, the first king of... I'm gonna butcher most of these names. Eskia was assassinated. With the succession throne open and none of the 3 royal princes ready to take the throne, the king's brother had assumed the regency. Yeah, that sounds right. Hoping to guide the rightful heir to the throne, the regent has sought help from the High Council, a neutral and influential faction of powerful magicians. The delegate it has sent, however, isn't someone that Eskian big words wishes for more reasons than meets the eye. You are the High Council's delegate and newly appointed tutor of the royal princess. The journey ahead is riddled with obstacles, murky intrigues, and many dangers that may let your story end abruptly. Your choices will carry consequences. Whenever I wear my headphones, I feel like I'm yelling. Your choices will carry consequences as you make them. Take on solely burdens you can bear and choose your path wisely. Should I do normal? We're gonna go easy. So my goal is to die. To a joyous venture and a happy end. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. Milady? Never mind. How much longer to Frustrax, Captain? At this rate, milady, in less than an hour. I nod and glance absentmindedly out of the carriage window at the scenery flying by. The night lies black and heavy over the murky forest that looms on either side of the road. No trace of the waning crescent moon can be seen through the storm clouds gathering in the sky. The distant rumbling of thunder mingles with the sound of wind soughing through rustling leaves. An hour, he says. Will the weather hold up that long? No, that's not her voice. That can't be. Looks like a storm is about to break. Hard to say, my lady. We might just we might just about make it in time. Perhaps we should have stayed overnight at the inn. Perhaps, my lady. The guard captain glances at me and casts a sheepish grin. Can't say we're sorry to leave the place behind, my men and I. We're all very keen to see home and hearth again. Yearning for the embrace of loving wife, Captain. And to see my daughters, my lady. The youngest turned 3 this month. She... Crack. A sound akin to a stone splitting in 2 shatters the silence of the night. I bolt upright as the hair on my back of my neck tingles with apprehension. What was that? Halt, halt. The carriage jolts to a stop. Without a word, the captain rides on ahead to confer with the escort vanguard, leaving me to peer uneasily into the now ominous woods outside my window. Captain, I demand to know what's going on this instant. We're still trying to figure that out ourselves, my lady. Captain's face reappears by the window, a little pale and worried. Looking at let a breath and did not realize I was holding. There was like flashing lights over here outside my window. It was just a car. Nothing big. None of the men saw anything out of the ordinary, I don't suppose. You? No. Maybe it was the thunder? You may be right, my lady. Neither he nor I sound very convinced. Should we have the coachman press the horses a little further, Captain? The sooner we reach the capital, the safer. Better, I mean. My sentiments exactly, my lady. Turning his head, the captain rings out a series of orders, and with a jerk, the carriage starts moving again, this time at a brisk-ish canter. Sorry, I'm swallowing a lot. I notice the guards are riding in a tighter ring around the carriage, and that a few now have hands brushing the pommels of their sabres. And you, my lady? I beg your pardon? You're looking forward to meeting your princely charges? Oh. I offer a non-committal grunt. How can I look forward to meeting people I know next to nothing about? Come now, my lady, you are going to be a royal tutor of 3 princes of Eskia. It's an exalted position even for a descendant of the famous Rosenkreutz dynasty. Surely you must be curious. So I am, but I try my best not to let it show. I want to do for the royal tutor to be a pair nosy, or, heaven forbid, eager in front of the mere captain of cavalry. Prince Surin sounds of the deepest sort, by all accounts. A right gentleman in our Prince Surin, every inch of worthy successor to our late beloved king. Yes, but the slightest bit standoffish, perchance. One could say he acts out of touch with the people, but I won't do the honors. From what I've gathered, he doesn't appear to have the, common touch that Prince Nazir does. Oh, no doubt about it. The commoners love the good Prince Nazir. A fine dashing fellow who sweeps you right off your feet if he has the mind to do so. If he has the mind to, but I hear he has many things occupying his mind these days. Unfortunately so, my lady. He seems to spend his days lounging around taverns, singing the troubadours and hiding from moneylenders like a vagabond. He could spare to be a bit more like his brothers, Prince Ren and Prince Orleus? I don't know why I have a hat on. What is your opinion of him, Captain? For a moment or two, I watched the guard captain's mustache bristle. Noiselessly. After some thought, he slowly replies, Well, my lady, one doesn't like to blow one's own trumpet, you know. But back in my younger years at fresh-faced courtesy, I was a deft chess player. Swept the field in the War Academy's chess competition. I was the reigning champion, not just of my cohorts, but my seniors and juniors too. And the Prince Aurelius. As a reward for my skill, I was invited to the palace for a game against the prince. I was told he was something of a chess enthusiast. Ah, I hope you were diplomatic enough to let him win. I didn't stand a ghost of a chance, my lady. What? I take a closer look at the man I was speaking with. But, Captain, that must have been nearly a decade ago. Prince Orleus was 9, my lady, when I had the honor of a match against him. We traveled on in silence for a while as I did digest this new information. Curiosity gets the better of me, and I pursue conversation with the captain about the princess once more. Prince A must have been quite a prodigy growing up. So he was, my lady. So he still is. It's a pity he hasn't any hope of ascending to the throne. What makes you say that, Captain? The nobility of the court had themselves set dead against him. Have they? Why is that? You mean you didn't know, my lady? The prince? The captain sounds like he's about to say something, but checks himself abruptly mid-sentence. The prince is much too clever for their tastes. You know how the nobles can be, my lady. Swollen-headed, stuck-up, parasites, the lot of them. The more competent someone is, the more they detest them. Ah, but not you, my lady. You're quite capable and considerate, befitting of your position, unlike most these days. I could not prevent my upper lip from twitching. It was a grossly sweeping generalization, but at the same time, not entirely an unfair one. I did appreciate the admission of admiration, however, so I'll allow it. You're not of their estate, Captain? No, my lady. My parents are shopkeepers. I earned my commission by merit, not patronage. I smile and incline my head slightly. We, the Alchemist of the High Council, share your views on the matter, and we wish more men of your stamp were in positions of authority throughout the realm. Many thanks, my lady. That's why I'm glad the Lord Regent chose one of you alchemists as the prince's tutor. I do believe the kingdom and its moribund court are overdue for a good shaking up, you know? The guard captain's voice trails off. His mustache bristles again, and his brows furrow downward as he begins to frown. It's gotten strangely warm here. Huh? As we were talking, temperature around us had grown imperceptibly, but steadily warmer. Before long, I realize I am dabbing my handkerchief to my forehead, wishing I could permit myself the liberty of loosening a collar button or two. You're right. After you heard that, the sudden burst of thunder, it seems. That didn't sound like thunder. The guard's captain's eyes widen. It's a trap. My lady, get out of the carriage now. Oh. He lunges forward and wrenches the door open. As the door swings outward, I see the carriage road beneath us starting to glow blood red. Becoming rapidly hotter now, the air that blasts into the carriage might as well have come straight out of a furnace fire. The road is mined. This thought has just enough time to flash across my mind when the ground begins to rumble and shake. I squeeze my eyes shut and murmur the first spell that comes to mind. As the last symbol of the spell leaves my lips, the petal rackings around my neck burn to life, seeming painfully against my skin. A violent force propels me upward into the air right before a crimson inferno erupts out of the ground. I gasp and then scream as before my eyes the eruption devours the carriage, the coachman, the escort guards, the captain, the whole world in a horrific blossoming flame. And there we go. The terrible sight breaks up my concentration, and the levitation spell I had cast, which had flung me away from the brunt of the explosion, dwindles and fails. My stomach twists with vertigo as I drop downward. A heartbeat later, I collapsed onto the charred, blackened ground just outside the ring of destruction. Pushing myself up, I stared in shock at the carnage that had overtaken my carriage. Cruel red-orange tongues of flame licked the blackened outlines of the carriage and horses, and the twisted, charred remnants that had once been men. If not for the warning of the captain and the split second that allowed me to mutter a spell, I would have been one of them. Did we get her? Don't know what she looked like. Pretty much like a human-shaped charcoal now, same as the rest of this lot. Shadowy figures emerged from the forest and onto the road to stand by the flickering flames, pointing and gesticulating, chuckling. They are a bunch of burly, scarred men in ill-fitting scrap armor. Light from the flyer gleams against their equipment. I see spears, hatchets, maces, knives, even a rusty, jagged sword. Suppose she's dead. Suppose we tell boss she's dead, and it turns out she's only wounded and needing finishing off. Garr. She won't need finishing off, not in this mess. Either the fire gets her or the smoke does. Someone pokes the corpse with the tip of his pike and it turns it over. It was once the guard captain. That's her. She's all dolled up in a real fancy looking dress. Might be a bit old looking though, ain't she? Let's see you look fresh and nice after getting exploded by 5 crates of... The mercenaries break into Rakshos? Rakos? I'm sorry for butchering these words. Laughter that is grating to the ears. Quietly, I rise to my feet, not daring to breathe. At the moment they are distracted, and from the looks of it, hadn't seen me previously levitate away from the explosion. I could take advantage of this and attack them. After all, they are merely hired goons, not master swordsmen or adept mages. I should be able to take down 2 or 3 in the initial assault using the element of surprise. That ought to be enough to scare off the rest of them. On the other hand, I can take advantage of their distraction and run away. That may not be the most glamorous thing to do, but there is no reason for me to take any unnecessary risk when I don't know the situation. As the saying goes, the better part of valor is cowardice. Discretion. The better part of valor is discretion. What should I do? Well, attack him. Combat. Is combat what I needed? There's one, thing that you need most of. I don't remember if it's combat or not. I might have done the wrong choice. I think the guard captain and his wife and his shopkeeper parents and his daughters who will never see their father again. My decision is made. I whisper an incantation into the night, and the night responds forthwith. There's a soft tinkling sound as water vapor in the air gathers around my hand, crystallizing into a savor of ice. Look how cute I am. Despite myself, a small cry escapes my lips as the petal markings around my neck prick and sting. Right here. I wonder, after the run through, you hear that? Hear what? Now. Don't know, it sounded like before the ruffian could finish the sentence, the tip of my sabre, hope I'm saying that right, is jutting towards him into the space between his ribs. Hiya. don't know why I said it like Link would. I wrench the blade out of the dying man and swing it hard against his companion's face. He does not manage to dodge in time, and my sabre cracks through his armor. Soundlessly, he falls. I glimpse a blur of motion out of the corner of my eye and peer at a single hair's breadth away from the thrust of a pike. Before I can strike back at my assailant, the shining crescent of an axe blade is chopping toward me, and I barely manage to parry the blow. What the? I had expected the mercenaries to flee from the shock of my attack, but they are showing no sign of panic or intention to run. In fact, far from panicking, they seem unnaturally eager to see their dark business through to its ghastly end. The mercenaries surround me in an even ever-tightening semicircle. Steadily and relentlessly, I am forced back toward the forest. Blow after blow rains down, merciless and inexorable. I can feel myself weakening under their constant pressure. Metal flashes towards me. I try to twist away, but gasp in pain when something burning like cold slices into my shoulder. I see numbness spreads across my hand, and my sabre falls from my nerveless fingers. Bad, bad, bad. I hold up my hands and murmur a spell. Shadows distant from the forest to shroud me in a cloak of darkness. Exclamations and oaths burst out of the mercenaries' lips when I sink into the night itself right before their very eyes. Where'd she go? She was right over there just a moment before, right over here. You think I didn't see that? Where the blazes is she now? Well, is what I want to know. Meanwhile, I am scurrying deeper into the forest, careful not to make any noise. Look here. What? Blood. Blood, so he stuck her on, huh? Not properly, but it's her blood, ain't it? Garr. Garr. Like a pirate. We follow her blood and leads us to her, see? When we find her, then we stick her one, and this time there's no running. I cuss under my breath and press my palm harder against my shoulder, but it's no use. I simply haven't the time or the means to stop the bleeding. Behind me, I hear the stamping of their boots growing louder with each step. They are trained and hardened fighters, well used to physical exertion, whereas I am an alchemist, more accustomed to poring over manuscripts and casting spells than running. Or sword fighting, for that matter. Unless a miracle happens, and seeing this is going to be one unequal and very short hunt. Oof. I grunt as my knee bumps into the protruding edge of a crate, and I stumble, nearly fall. Wait. A crate. You hear that? She definitely went this way. I walk over to the crate and swiftly pry open the lid. Even in the darkness, I can make out the smooth, dark red stones piled within. Phlogiston? Fire phlogiston. The realization dawns on me in the same amount, so does the plan. Oh, pretend to be hurt or threaten them. We'll probably pretend to be hurt. Charisma. Oh, I let out another cry at the top of my lungs for all to hear. Please don't hurt me. I'll do anything you want. Anything. As I expected, the mercenaries wasted no time, stampeding toward the sound of my voice. My. What have we got here? A little girl lost and alone in the woods? What happened to your leg, little girl? But please, I tripped and fractured my ankle. Garr. Have you now, you poor thing. An eye patch wearing ruffian takes a step towards me and licks the edge of his hatchet. Ew. One more step, you cretin. You a little closer, no, a little more closer. Lucky for us, you've chosen a bad place to be layman. Now, I raise my hands and cry out the spell's command. Sparks of fire spurt from my palms in the crate behind the mercenaries. Oi, she's... The fire phlogiston and the crate shines bright scarlet. The mercenaries spin around. Eye patch points in alarm to the shaking crate and opens his mouth. Too late. Boom. I'm sorry, that wasn't... I didn't mean to do it that loud. Kaboom. Another booming sound of thunder shakes the forest. The men standing closest to the crate are blown apart, reduced to nothing but smoke and ashes. Those further away leave behind remains that, in fact, are almost identical to the human-shaped charcoal they had mocked not 10 minutes before. Eye Patch, who was standing nearest to me, which is to say furthest away from the phlogiston, is rolling about the grass in agony. I glance at the lower half of his body and immediately look away. With that one look, it's clear he will never walk again. Whether he is going to survive, however. Do you want to live? Eye Patch looks up at me, refusing to speak. His one good eye is dark and unnervingly blank. I have to keep off the chills that try to creep up my spine. I can cast the healing spell to mend your wounds, but only if you tell me who ordered you and your gang to kill me. Eye Patch does not reply, nor does he give any indication of having heard my voice. He is not even rolling about the grass now. Don't you understand unless you tell me the truth, Yul? Before I have the chance to complete my sentence. Eye Patch suddenly arches his body and groans. His mouth opens, and he sticks his tongue out at great length. His jaw smashes shut. He bit off his tongue. I stand up shaken. The world spins. I fall back onto the ground, trying to fight down my repulsion that was eager to make itself seen. Resting my head on the cool grass, I gaze blindly up at the cold, hard stars. Ooh. Okay, we're gonna save. I'm gonna save. Let's do that one. Yeah, cool. Oh, okay. I'm gonna move it. Oh, no. No. Okay. The proud high's walls of frustra thrust into the azure sky as its battlements shines in blinding white in the splendor of the meridian sun. I am hurt, hungry, and tired to the bone, yet cannot help but feel a stir of awe as I take in breathtaking sights. I nudge my palfrey onto the main thoroughfare, squeezing through the throng of townsfolk and livestock. At this very moment I should be in the castle, soon to be confirmed by the Lord Regent as tutor to the princess before the estates of the realm. Instead, I look at my tattered, singed clothes and the ragged palfrey I had bought for an exorbitant price at anything outlying farmstead this morning, and woe at the misfortune. Because of the events that took place the night before, I decided to err on the side of caution and spend most of my time painstakingly covering my trail so not to be caught. At least I've nearly reached the palace now. Soon I shall have a warm bath to wash myself in, hot food to eat, and a soft bed to sleep in. A thrill of delight shivers through me. Soon. You there, stop! An officious-looking palace guard in ridiculously ornate armor is blocking the road. He glares at me and waggles his spear in front of my nose. What do you think you're doing, vagrant? I'm on my way to the palace. Oh, she's on her way to the palace. Squinting his eyes, he proceeds to shrink with laughter. The two other palace guards behind him let out a titter, and one of them makes a rude gesture at me with his hand. The palace, street rat, only admits people of quality. Be so good as to scamper back into the sewers from whence you came before I skewer you. Pardon me? You are making a terrible mistake here. I'm here to serve as a tutor to the princess by instruction of His Excellency the Lord Regent. Ha, and I am the High Queen of Carcosa, here to join the late king's harem. This witticism provokes another shrill outburst of merriment. I can already feel my patience rapidly wearing thin. My lips purse on instinct while trying to be civil. I can't help but glare at the guard. Despite never having been awarded a patent of nobility and never having sought for one, my house is still recognized among the ranks of accuracy. Aristocracy. And as a representative of the council, I do not have to stand here and bear this idiocy. I had been ambushed by assassins, my carriage was destroyed, and my escort was killed. I myself barely escaped the slaughter. So it's not the sewers you came from, but the asylum. I am neither insane nor lying. No? No? Then I suppose I had better let you pass, hadn't I? He moves to step aside, but stops mid-motion as if remembering something. Oh, you said you're to be the princess tutor, as I recall. You recall correctly. Then you will no doubt have the Lord Regent's letter of appointment hidden somewhere among the racks you were. The letter of appointment? I feel my heart sinking. As ordered by the council, my appointment has to be kept hidden until my arrival due to security reasons. Alas, I totally forgot about the letter. I'm afraid I've lost it. Oh? What an awful and utterly unexpected surprise. Not really, if her carriage was destroyed, then the letter would have been destroyed. Come on, think a little bit. Get out of my sight before I gut you like a hog, imbecile. How dare you? I'll warn you not to take liberties. You warn me. You warn me. Do you know who I am, maggot? Oh, okay. Well, we gotta kill him off. Maggot. Do you know who my father is? I can whip you like a cur in the street. I can make you lick dirt from my boots. I could cut you to pieces and feed you to my hounds, and no one will so much as blink. So don't you dare warn me, you unspeakable lowlife. The tip of his spear taunts me as he waves and glints. Suddenly the guard freezes, his mouth snaps shut, and he stiffens into the salute. Is something the matter, Hagen? A young man makes his way beside me with a small smile resting about his lips. That doesn't look like a smile. The first thing that strikes me about him are his eyes, beautiful and almond-shaped. They peer out like into the world from under carefully hooded eyes. Very beautiful eyes, yeah. Blue. Staring keen and guarded, those eyes take in everything, give nothing out in return. His dark cape rustles with every elegant move, and the sound of something small and sonorous follows him eventually. I noticed it coming from his golden earrings. A suspicious character is attempting to enter the palace, and I was trying to chase her away. A suspicious character? Surely there must have been a misunderstanding. Pardon me, I don't believe I have the honor. I am Lily of House Rosencreutz. I can't pronounce my last name. Coming to receive in my appointment. as royal tutor from His Excellency of Lord Frigate of Ischia. As I confidently say this, I feel my heart sinking. The young nobleman seems both friendly and influential, but there is no reason why he would be any more likely to believe these words from a haggard, disreputable-looking stranger like me than the palace guard. Against all odds, the youth merely inclined his head slightly. It's a pleasure to meet you, my lady. Please allow me to introduce my brothers. He half turns and makes a graceful motion with his hand. And for the first, I noticed the two youths standing behind him. This is Nazir. One of them looks up, running his fingers through his hair and behind his ear. He meets my eyes with a playful wink, with his braids sliding over his cape ever so slightly. How do you do? And this is Aurelius. If you know how to pronounce his name, please put in the comments so I don't butcher it every time. I take a glance at the nobleman's other companion. Beautiful dark hair gracefully falls to his hips, highlighting the fairest complexion I have ever laid eyes on. I said something wrong there. Whatever. In short, he is striking, but in the most ethereal and haunting sense of the word. Holds my gaze for half a second, then glances away. The impenetrable expression on his face unchanged. I am Serene, a prince of our fair Ischia, like my brothers before you, and very much at your service. He lowers his head in courtly bow, not entirely devoid of irony, as realization finally dawns on me. They're the princes. Dismount and show them respect, or get him to help dealing with the guard. Probably should show them respect. We'll show them respect. Etiquette? Heck yes. In a flash, I slip off the palfrey, dropping on one knee before the princes. Your Highnesses. Long, delicate fingers touch my shoulders, lifting me to my feet. However, they leave me long before I can even recall their touch. There is no need to kneel, my lady. After all, you are to be our tutor. We are the ones who ought to be showing you respect. Your Highness, you don't seriously believe this rambling of this character. But I do. Can you not see these hanging? Prince Serene inclined his head over so slightly in the direction of my neck. Understanding his intentions, I loosened my collar a bit, revealing the petal markings. The little eyes of the palace guard squint again, his lips working silently. These petal birthmarks are the birthright of airy Rosencrantz, and a symbol of their unique gift, their affinity for all 6 elements of magic. This lady is indeed the royal tutor, and our uncle, the regent, most anxiously desires to meet her. But, Your Highness, she hasn't got the letter of... I vouch for her. In his response, there resides the faintest hint of steel within his silky smooth voice. The palace guard blanks, even though Prince Serene's external demeanor does not alter. Lowering his head, he obediently stands aside. Serene turns to me with a gentle smile. This way, my lady, if you will allow me. I smile back, and falling into step alongside the prince, finally walk under the towering arched gates and into the great sprawling palace of Frostra. Grammar updated. Ooh. Before I read more, my first playthrough, I don't know why I'm holding this like this. I guess I just need something to hold on to and like play with. I'm gonna get rid of this so the mic's not loud. and then I'll continue what I was saying. I muted the mic for a second. So my first playthrough of this game, it took me 11 hours. So I'll probably play through the whole thing. It's really good, I like it. So let's continue. Prince Serene takes me past the garden forecourt into a sumptuously appointed antechamber within one of the palace's wings. I will say there's a lot of big words for me. So I'm sorry if I incorrectly pronounce anything. Prince Serene takes me past the garden forecourt into a sumptuously appointed... Oh, I already said that. I hope you will forgive poor Hagen. I won't. He is new to his job and clearly requires a great deal more, manners, self-preservation, intelligence, pedigree, polish. Just so, polish. Here's to hoping poor Hagen gains it quickly. And before he challenges another Rosencrantz or some nobility that are less gracious about letting him walk after crossing them. I'm afraid I must now take my leave. There are preparations I have to make for the state dinner, so the palace staff will attend to all your needs from this point on today. Thank you so much for helping me, Your Highness. It was my pleasure. He nods politely and leaves the antechamber. It's not antechamber. That's an E, not an I. Antechamber. The moment he steps outside, a dozen maidservants and butlers scream into the room as if summoned out of thin air. Truly, my thanks for your assistance cannot be fully articulated into the words Serene. I aim the thought of gratitude after the good prince as a pretty maid in a frilly dress leads me gently by the arm to what she assures me will be the fanciest bath I've ever seen in my life. The remainder of the afternoon passes in an indistinct blur. I am conducted into a luxurious bath of scented soap and multicolored bubbles, where I, at least, wash off the ashes of blood in steaming hot water. When I step out of the bath, my clothes are neatly laid out on the bed, crisp and clean, next to a large white towel, still warm with the sun. A maidservant enters the chamber the moment I finish dressing, carrying a tray laden with pastries, fruits, and piping hot tea. That sounds delicious. As I sit on a fur-lined couch, nibbling, butter scone and savoring the rich herbal aroma left by scalding tea, the nightmarish events of the previous night seem to disappear. But the respite does not last long. A somber butler in an immaculate black suit soon glides into the room and announces in a funeral tone that this evening's state dinner, in honor of the High Council, is about to begin. Friends, countrymen, and honored guests, before we begin tonight's state dinner, there is an announcement I wish to make on behalf of the Regency Council. The Lord Regent, the late King's younger brother, appears to be a subdued-looking gentleman with graying hair and a tired voice. He speaks standing next to the empty throne, and his voice is barely audible over the chattering crowd of Eskian citizens milling about the throne room. After much deliberation, the Regency Council has decided upon a candidate to be the realm's royal tutor for the three princes. At these words, the chatter between those in attendance quickly increased in volume. I see glances start my way, not all of them friendly. She is a scion of the ancient and noble house of Rosencrantz, an accomplished practitioner in the art of magic and a foremost member in the High Council most worthy order of obscure nobodies, useless upstart potion makers. Leave magic to the mages, Alchemist. A storm of harsh laughter and scorn burst from the nobles. My jaws clench and I dig my nails into the palm of my hands. How dare they? Order, order. Thankfully, the disruption does not last long. The blatant contempt is hardly partaken in by anyone else aside from the nobles. Representation from Eskia, a circle of mages which should be eager to participate in the outage after having their colleagues in the High Council appoint me in their stead, are looking at me sympathetically. I sincerely urge our peers in this palace to conduct themselves with the dignity befitting their high station. Their clamor dies down, but the lackluster sentiment by the aristocracy keeps an unfortunate stronghold on the atmosphere of the room. As I was saying, we in the Regency Council have determined. While the Lord Regent drones on, I start to survey the room, trying to decipher the lay of the political landscape. The nobility presents an almost unformally hostile obstacle to my new duties. High up the balustrade, the high nobles look down on me, cold and imbecile. They do not shout or jeer. They do not need to. Below them, their vassals, the minor barons and counts, they're all too eager to bark at their master's bidding. The mages are divided. Half of them regard me with undisguised disapproval, as an interloper encroaching on their traditional area of prerogative. Which, in all fairness, I suppose I was. I suppose I am. The other half observed me with detached curiosity, as though I were a new and potentially interesting specimen of mouse about to be experimented on. There's an alchemist in the hall, from whom I expected expressions of support, offer none. Hemmed in between the nobles and the mages, they make a self-efficient group try not to be noticed. A few of them smile at me, more out of pity than encouragement. Being young and high-spirited, the princess should be governed by a temperate and moderating influence. The more in the instruction of an art as subtle and perilous as that of magic. The princes, I wonder how they are doing. Trying to keep myself from yawning, I cast my eyes about the room for the 3 young men I met earlier today. Prince Serene is standing at full attention immediately to the right of the throne with hands clasped behind his back, his face a mask of dutiful attention. Next to him, Prince Nazir slouches against a pillar. He catches my eyes and offers a lazy wink. Or, yes, like, oh, no, that's not lazy. That's like... catches my eyes and offers a lazy wink. The ginger prompts me to smile and acknowledge and reply. The idea to survey the room must have occurred to Prince Aurelius as well. He is scanning the great hall from one end to another, brows creased in slight frown. Our gazes meet. He stares cleanly at my face for a moment before his eyes flicker away, quite impersonally, to the person next to me. Let us therefore wish the new royal tutor every success in guiding their highnesses the princes of Exkia on paths of wisdom and virtue. May they flourish under her guidance. It sounds like the Lord Regent's address is winding down at last. To Lily of Rosencreutz, our tutor to the princes. For a second, absolute silence reigns. I feel my cheeks flush. A ringing noise fills my ears. Then, "Hear, hear!" Presentator shouts cheerfully as he claps, which echoes through the cavernous room. Prince Serene joins him in the previous instant ladder, adding his applause to his brother's. Then Prince Earliest too is clapping, and soon as so is everyone else in the throne room, with every display of enthusiasm. Nobody wishes to be seen holding back or worse, jeering, when their future sovereign, whoever he may be among the three, is applauding. My lords and lordies, my lords and ladies, I formally declare the state dinner for this evening open. I'm almost sure I hear a sigh of relief from the Lord Regent as he steps down from the podium. At the far end of the throne room, trains in service bring out silver platter piled high with steaming and aromatic delicacies. With great eagerness, the assembly of nobility breaks into little groups, shuffling their way to the buffet table. I pause, wondering with whom I should speak to over dinner. Oh, who should I talk to? Who should I talk to? Probably the Lord first. I walk over to the bottom of the throne platform where the Lord Regent rubbing his in his neck, standing after his speech. Good evening, my lord. Ah, the young Rosencrantz, how do you do? I am well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I hope you are also well, my lord. As well as I can be expected these days for my age. The Regent straightens up, wincing slightly at the effort. They say that you met with some sort of trouble on your way here. You mean you haven't heard of the ambush? Ambush? You were ambushed? Not 20 miles from Frustra. Good heavens, what is this kingdom coming to? Tell me what happened, young lady. I know but little myself. A band of mercenaries mined the road to Frustra with caches of fire, phlogiston. When they saw my carriage approach, they detonated the caches, killing everyone in my escort. I barely escaped with my life. You have my sincere condolences. Rest assured, I shall order the utmost thorough investigation into this horrifying incident. Thank you, my lord. How are you holding up? I imagine it must have been a deeply traumatizing experience. I have survived, my lord, and I'm grateful for that. Only, everyone guarding me was killed. I didn't manage to take anyone alive. Everyone guarding me was killed. They died because of me. The captain of my escort, he had children. My throat constricts painfully. I do not trust my own voice to speak. I felt her hand squeezing my shoulder. The guards died doing their duty. For that, they will be remembered. Let us honor their memory with a moment of silence. I look at the Red Brigand gratefully. He offers me a quiet smile. We do hope it does not appear again, but just in case, I shall assign personal bodyguards to protect you in the future. Is that necessary? I'm not sure I want. The safety of your person is the most important to me, to the princess and to the realm. On this point, I am afraid I shall have to insist, young one. Very well. I lower my head in compliance. The regent smiles as if guessing what is on my mind. They won't be a burden, I assure you. On the contrary, I am sure you will come to like them immensely. Yes, my lord. Don't yes, my lord, me child. Both the knight and I are too old for it. He looks out the window at the ray of twinkling stars dotted against the darkness. Well, young lady, I shall see you in the morning. Yes, my lord. The regent laughs wryly. He gives my shoulder another warm pat and strides off, quickly disappearing into thronging crowd. New character update. I take my leave from the state dinner as soon as it is polite to do so. I haven't had a wink of sleep since the night before last, and the effects are starting to take their toll on me. By the time I reach my room, my eyes feel incredibly dry from me trying to keep them open. I pry my clothes off and change into a nightgown. Finally collapsing onto my bed without missing a beat, darkness engulfs me. Lotus. The rich but calming aroma of lotus flowers pervades the room. I groan as I push myself upright, blinking through the cobwebs of sleep. A slim hand places a steaming cup of tea onto the end table beside me. I take a sip, savoring the slightly bitter aftertaste. Thanks. I am happy to be a service, Lady Rosencrantz. Look up to see a demure-looking young woman standing next to the bed. She has a quiet, attractive face framed by long silver hair. Her ears are long and pointed like knives. I half-consciously touch my own ears and ask, I beg your pardon, but are you a homunculus? I am. She dips into a graceful curtsy. Being magical creatures shaped from all 6 elements of magic, homunculi are very rare even within the High Council. My father, the council's most skillful alchemist, had once tried to make a homunculus. He called Tim Tobermory, sleek and gray, indistinguishable from a kitten apart from the fact that he speaks in human tongues. That alone had taken all his attention and energy for an entire year. To my sincere amazement, she is the first human-shaped homunculus I've ever seen, demurely shaped and with a soothing, gentle, magical aura around her. The sheer amount of craft and power needed to create her must have been immense. I didn't know that Eskia had an alchemist adept enough to create a homunculi. The young woman smiles, but does not reply. I decide to try another approach. So, what's your name? I am Salah, my lady. The regent assigned me to be your personal servant. My lips quirk up into a smile. Back at home on our fief, my parents had hired many servants and guards, but they never allowed us, their children, to have someone appointed to be their personal attendant. They had hoped that, by doing so, we would be capable of taking care of ourselves without any added assistance. As that may be, I'm essentially alone in a distant country for the first time, and the prospect of having someone familiar with this environment is more welcome than I am disposed to admit. Did the regent assign me any other servants I should know about? Yes, there is. Just then comes a knock at the door. A debonair man pushes it open and swaggers into the room. Lady Rosencrantz, my deepest apologies. I was held up by a measly bit of business with the treasury. And you are? Raphael, at your service, Lady Rosencrantz. Salah and I will personally oversee that you are well taken care of. I can bathe and dress on my own. Sometimes I can even wake up on my own. I let a grin along with my last jab. Raphael's gesture softened in response and a small tugs at the corner of his lips. That's not something that can be taken for granted in the aristocracy of the capital, indeed. However, our services extend to more than just domestic assistance. You're not just my servants, you're my bodyguards as well. We can both protect you in times of danger. There will also be 4 guards to watch your chambers at all hours. I'm probably only gonna go for a little more. Sure would have been nice to have had them a day ago. But apart from that, Salah here is a beautician in their own right. impressive. Sala smiles. If, oh, excuse me. If you ever feel the need to pretty yourself up a little, you can always spend an afternoon with me. I'll keep that in mind, Sala the beautician. I am a courtier who has been in the service of the king for a long, long time. I know all there is to know about the etiquette and protocols of the Eskian court. Lucky for me, considering I don't know anything about that at all. I shall be delighted to teach them to you. When you want to lesson on our court customs and traditions, please come find me. Raphael the courtier, I'll remember. And then there's Garion. Garion, is he another servant? Good heavens, no. Please don't let him hear you say that. Marshal Garion commands the palace guards and was a close confidant of the late king. He's the one in charge of training new recruits and can usually be found bustling about the parade grounds. Be that as it may, he also offers to train members of the royal household, and this now includes you. I give a casual flick of my wrist. I am more used to fighting magic, or should I say alchemy items. Of course, the training ground can offer you opportunities to train in magical combat. But if you ever find the need for enhancing your physical prowess, he's the one you want to see. Seems like I'm going to have a very busy week ahead. To top it all off, please don't forget about your daily lessons with the princess. How can I forget? Have you already got a rough idea for this week's scheduled? If you tell us, we can help you plan out your activities accordingly. Sure, let's see. For this week, I think... Okay. I don't know where my... Oh, there it is. Here we go. I think we're going into week 1. Okay, so I'm going to do week 1, and then I think that's a good stopping point. Save. Yay. Okay, I'm going to schedule my classes, and then, oh my gosh, I'm going to write. So, this is just what I remember. So Serene was proficient in, was it water and light? And this is me remembering, or what I can remember. I think Nazir was proficient in was it fire wind? I guess I could always check, I think. And then Mr. A over down there, I know he was dark, but what's this? Wood? Or was Nazir woodwind? I'm gonna guess woodwind. I'm gonna make sure though. Oh, that A is fire, dark. Okay, let's see if I was right. I'm probably. Because if we go, we click on, oh, Grimoire. We go to Serin. Okay. Not water. But I did get light right. His is wood. Okay, so I got, okay. Nazir is water. Water wind. No, fire wind. What the heck? Fire wind. A is water dark. Huh. Okay. Well, we have beauty, etiquette, and combat. We don't really need too much charisma or leadership right now. Now we need a lot of intelligence. I'm gonna go intelligence, and then combat. So, intelligence, and then combat. Oh, we can't really do that yet. Okay. Now, Serin is wood and light, and I think I will do, for now, light, wood. And then Nazir is fire and wind. I don't know why. Fire and wind. And I believe I need a lot of fire and then wind. And then dark and water. I know we need a lot of water. Maybe. Hopefully. And dark. Perfect. I think if the next one is just, because sometimes they don't have dialogue for all the weeks. I think that's good. A good starting point. Okay, look at that. Oh. I will. Actually, no, I won't. I was gonna say I'm gonna write it down, but we can just look. That's really good for the first week. Knock, knock. Come in. I glance out from my studies as the door swings open. Please pardon my intrusion. Prince Serene makes a half bow in my direction, with his trademark courteous smile. Your Highness, pray sit down. Thank you. Prince Serene closes the door after him, and I catch a glimpse of several guards. Not mine, but likely his personal troop. Troop? Troop. Since arriving, I have yet to see the prince without any companions. I suppose it's understandable since the culprits behind his father's assassination were never found. Pulling out the chair across from me, he takes a seat. This prompts me to look around, suddenly realizing I don't have anything to offer him. Prince Serene must have been following my eyes because he takes initiative to stop me when I am about to call on Sala or someone with the means to fetch her for me. Please, no need to trouble yourself. I look at him and I proceed to settle down again. He smiles at me warmly, showing no indication that it was a mere courtesy. I find myself unable to keep from smiling back. Oh, my nose itches. To what do I owe the pleasure, Your Highness? The Lord Regent would like to ask you for more details about the mercenaries who ambushed you on your way to the capital. It's like, it's this one. It's like, I don't know. He was most disturbed by this unnerving and unforeseeable breach of security so near the heart of the kingdom, and to a person as important to us as you, of course. I am touched by his concern for my welfare. Would this be a convenient time for you, not my lady? You ain't my lady. Lady Rosencrantz? Cruz? I do happen to have some free time just now, so please ask away. Thank you. To the best of your knowledge, who knew about the details of your journey to Frustra? No one outside the palace. Yes, we are investigating the possibility of an eternal link. In that case, oh my god, my nose. The Lord President of the High Council and the Senior Alchemist. You told no one of your appointment? Not a soul? Do you think they could have? I don't even have to think before shaking my head. Impossible. They won't tell anyone about what they had for breakfast, much less the affairs of their delegates. The members of the council have always been overly secretive. That was one of the reasons why I had to bear with that rude palace guard in the first place. I see. In that case, what was the earliest forewarning you received of the ambush? My lips purse, and I close my eyes trying to recall more details of that night. On the road to Frustra, I heard a loud explosion that came from somewhere within the forest. Then the temperature around the carriage began growing warm. What do you think caused the explosion? Perhaps it was a way to remotely detonate the phlogiston mine beneath the road. Or maybe one of the caches was misplaced and exploded earlier than planned. However, due to discoveries I found later in the forest, I know the mercenaries had not finished their work when my carriage came to an ambush site. They did not expect me to show up so early since I was supposed to spend the night in the village inn. They knew even about that. I nod. It was a coincidence and maybe just a random luck. It was the only reason I managed to escape alive. At least that explosion gave you enough time to get away. Thanks to the captain of my escort, he recognized the situation for what it was immediately and warned me in the nick of time. If not for his prompt actions, I would have... I closed my eyes and swallowed, even though my throat was perfectly dry. The hellish vision of the inferno, the broiling, horrifying waves of the heat. Worst of all, those piteous, charred people lying twisted and broken about the devastating remains of a carriage. Afterwards, the mercenaries came to examine their handiwork. I attacked them, hoping to take them by surprise. That was remarkably brave of you. Brave, perhaps, but more like remarkably reckless. I soon found myself overmatched and fled into the forest. Thankfully, I bumped into a crate of unused phlogiston. Then, using myself as bait, I alerted the remaining mercenaries to the crate before detonating it. And that was the end of that. I reopened my eyes, my hands, I noticed, are balled into fist. And I forced myself to unclench them. You were not able to take any of them alive? That's what scarred me the most, Your Highness. After I defeated the mercenaries, when I tried to question them, they brutally killed themselves right in front of me. I'll never forget those empty, doll-like eyes. For this reason, I suspect the person who employed them is somehow able to control their minds to an extent. That's disturbing, to say the least. I'm awfully sorry you had to go through that. There's no music. I just noticed there's no music. Prince Cern's face turns to a touch paler, filled with genuine concern and sorrow, after I finish recounting my experience with the ambush. He sounds as though he is trying to comfort me, yet he looks as though he needs some comforting himself. Thank you for telling me the tale of your harrowing encounter. You have my... Oh, there's music. You have my word that the utmost precaution will be taken to ensure that this does not happen in the future. Ooh, okay. Be assured, Prince Sir, and I protect myself. Play down the violence of the incident. Well, you don't want to play down. I am a full-fledged alchemist, Your Highness, as well as a member of the High Council. You need not burden yourself with the security of my person. You will find I am more capable of defending myself. I have every confidence you can in a fair fight. But our enemies, whoever they may be, do not appear to have any intention of fighting fair. Even an archmage or a master swordsman is vulnerable to a poisonous adder hidden underneath their bedsheets, or perchance a crate of phlogiston minded to the road the carriage is set to embark on. My lips pursed. The prince's father, I faintly recall, died in ambush at the hands of mysterious assassins. As a king, I'm sure he must have been strong, an adept magic user, a master of the sword, and a person with overwhelming charisma. I give you my solemn oath. As long as you are close to me, I shall see that you are kept out of harm's way. Well, I mean, we are gonna try and die, so I don't know. I observe Prince Serene very closely while he speaks. His troubled look, though diminished, does not disappear entirely, and his eyes have a distant, faraway look that suggests he is thinking of something else even as he is discussing the ambush with me. Did the recounting of my assault bring back any unpleasant memories? Before I can formulate my hypothesis and to suitably polite inquiry, Prince Serene abruptly steps back as if he somehow senses my intention to pry where I likely should not. I believe you have given me sufficient information so that I can make a report to the Lord Regent. Thank you for your time, Lady Rosencruz. It was a pleasure, Your Highness. Good day. Prince Serene nods his head and goes to leave. He pauses when he reaches the door and turns back to face me. Your Highness? I would like to tell you I'm very thankful you got away from the ambush unscathed. Well, I wasn't unscathed, but thank you. There is a soft undertone in his voice that makes me think he said those words out of more than mere etiquette. Didn't we get hurt, though? Thank you, Your Highness. Prince Serene nods again and silently closes the door behind him. Or silently closes the door behind him. I don't know what I said before, but it was not right. Ooh, okay. Another one. And then I think this will be the last one. Or maybe we should do this next time. Yeah, we'll do this next time. Or maybe now. Might as well do it now. Okay, get back our thing. So how much? So Serene has 5 wood and 12 light. Should I do? I don't remember, because we're gonna have to make things like cloth and whatnot. I don't remember. I think we need a lot of light, so we're just gonna keep that. I'm gonna just keep that. I'm gonna keep that. And then I'm just gonna keep that, I think, because we need a lot. Oh, we also need intelligence too. I mean, combat. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do combat. Intelligence, combat, yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah. Yeah. Daily death. I died 2 times. We're gonna try and get that 3. Because it's beneficial if you die. Oh, I shouldn't look at the, well, yeah. Someone is getting choked. Oh. Huh. Okay. Oh. I think that's good. Oh. Yay. Yeah, that's good. New missions are available. Okay. We are gonna save. And I think we're gonna end there. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you like this video. If you did, please give it a like. Please subscribe. That helped me a lot. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.